What's going on, everybody out there on the YouTube network? You're here with the Remote Chief, and I have some just amazing things to discuss, amazing things to talk about. Um, Please, if you're out there, make sure you hit the bell so you can get notified every time I go live. I feel like I'm going to be going live almost every night for the next month, definitely up until Verge has this amazing partnership released. It's big news. It's ridiculous news. And I just want everyone out there to understand that this could change how cryptocurrency is viewed throughout the global market. Last night I went live, and the last person I was talking to was a real estate guy, and he was like, "Don't you know crypto is dead?" And that's kind of like when Nas said hip hop is dead. Like, hip hop never died, man. Verge coin is going to make a partnership beyond belief. I think it's going to change how we all view cryptocurrency. I think it's going to create a FOMO buying effect that you guys have never seen. And I think it's going to blow out the bull run of December to a new high, just something insane. Something insane. Um, I just gotta discuss it because I'm on Telegram here with a bunch of different people, and I kind of want to float some ideas around with people here. Um, but right now I'm here. Verge leak looks like a partnership with CompUSA. Now we're not sure if that's true or not. I'm sorry to disclose that information if I was able to find out the truth. But on April 17th, tomorrow's my birthday, April 9th, and a week from in one day from my birthday, we may have some of the biggest news that the crypto world has ever seen and ever heard of. That news is insane. Basically, what Verge did is they had a giant company interested in them. They talked back and forth, and the company said, "Hey, if you can come up with this much money to create a campaign, an advertising campaign that we can both work together on, that can just blast us globally, then we're going to work with you." And Verge asked its own people, "Yo, can you guys donate as many Verge coins as possible?" Token Pay brought in a lot of money. Token Pay brought in a lot of money, almost, I think, like something like 60% of the initial funds needed. And a lot of other people in the Verge community donated and donated and donated. And now they solidified that contract. They showed that they could easily support the funds. And mark my words, people, right here on this channel tonight, I believe pretty full heartedly. And if it doesn't happen, I will come back out and you will see me say, you know what, I was wrong. But I believe full heartedly that Verge will become one of the biggest cryptocurrencies you have ever seen. Right now, I think it's number 20. It is a possibility that it can move up to number 5, number 4, or number 3 of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there. Now, when I started my channel, it wasn't supposed to be all about cryptocurrency. It was supposed to be about life and droning and just whatever the remote chief was into, me as my internet personality. And I got into Bitcoin. I got into cryptocurrency heavily starting in July. I also knew about it a long time. One day I'm going to put my whole story out there, but I felt like I had missed the boat for a long time. So when I had my chance to finally buy Bitcoin, when I finally got verified by Coinbase, which took 2 months, almost a month and a half or something, I jumped in with both hands, grabbing as much as I could. And I saw an extreme amount of wealth into my account that I had never felt before, not in the stock market, not in anything. And I think we're ready for another bull run because once you see mass adoption at a mass scale, I think you're going to see a lot of people jumping in onto the Verge move. You're going to see FOMO buying like you've never seen. And let's look at coin market cap. I mean, if we go to coin market cap and we check out Verge, right, where it stands in the grand scheme of the entire volume. So the market cap right now, the third biggest coin, is 19 billion, and that's Ripple. Okay, so you see Ripple at 19 billion. You see Bitcoin hitting 7,137. Thank you, Bitcoin. Let's stay above 7,000. That would be great for this push. Litecoin back up to 121 from its low of, I think, about 114, which is nice to see. Stellar Lumens hanging in there. But let's go down to the top to Verge here. Verge is the 20 coin right here with a $1 billion market cap. Okay, $1 billion market cap. Pretty impressive for such a coin. seeing it above Lisk and Omacy Go, um, it's very interesting to say the least. To say the least, with a circulating supply of 14 billion at the moment, and I think it's capped at 16 billion, 16.5 billion if you research it. So that's going to be, I think, a good circulating supply. Now Ripple has 39 billion, and I think they can expand that. So it's going to have a less circulating supply than Ripple, but it could go to where Ripple is in number three at 19 billion. So that's 20 times gains possibility. If you put $1,000 in today, there's a chance that in a month or two, you could have $20,000, 20 times gains. Now, just for legal purposes, I am not a financial advisor, and you have to do things on your own, at your own risk. And anything I say is not to be used for financial gain. You should get your own financial advisor, a good one, if you can find one. I've fired all the ones I've ever had and became my own man, but that's up to you. But I'm telling you right now what I did. When I first heard of the strategy, I was always holding Verge anyway. I had made a good amount of money on Verge already. I don't want to brag, but Verge has done me very well. I actually bought Verge at 0.005 when it was half a cent. I thought it was a boring coin after a while. Nothing happened to it. It went to zero. No, I bought it at 0.6. It went down to 0.004, 0.05. I eventually sold it for I think I put $500 in it, and I sold it at $100 loss. But I stayed the course, and I eventually would buy more Verge around, I think, 2 cents, 3 cents, something like that. And I watched it. I watched $3,000 turn into 15,000 like that. Boom. It was one of the coolest days of my life to see gains of that type with that amount of money that I put down. I then sold it, put back my core position, moved on, and it bubbled up again. It finally hit like that $27. When it started to come down, I got out around 20 cents, and I made another big chunk of money that I thought was amazing. I then left my core position in Verge, which is about $2,000, and that was it. I left it sit. Now, when I heard these new news about Verge, I took the initial money that I had and I purchased more Verge. What I did is I purchased around 800 Satoshi, 810 Satoshi was my buy-in. If we check Verge right now at the very moment on CoinMarketCap, which I'm going to do, we're looking at Verge at how many Satoshis, which is important, 953 Satoshis. So I'm already up about 150 Satoshi on a buy of 800. Once it's up to 200 Satoshi, that would be 25%. So I'm up almost 20%. I think something like 19% at the very moment. And what I did is I'm setting trailing stops. So when I first bought into Verge at 800, I set a stop with a stop limit on Binance, and I set my stop and stop limit at 724. 724, I held it. Then it hit 850. It caught down to 840 at one point, 808. But it was still very far away from my stop. I was willing to lose 15%. Okay. I said, you know what? I'll lose 15% of what I invested. And if it hits me, it hits me. That's fine. And I wrote that into my brain. I was ready for the loss. And that's a great way to trade these cryptos, is to tell yourself what you're willing to lose, go in with it, and set those stops. Don't just go in blind and say, I'm going to hold it when it goes up and hold it goes down. I mean, you can do that. Hodling is fine for some people, and I've done it in other coins. I don't have stops on every coin. Maybe I should. But on this particular move, I've got to stop. Now, I'm going to stay in it and stay in it and stay in it. And then eventually, I'm raising my stops. Tonight, Verge hit 950. My stop was at 724. I've raised my stop to 833 now. 840 with an 833 sell. So if Verge goes below 840, it'll sell at 833. I'll be completely fine with that. I'll still have a minimal gain, but I'll be fine with it. I won't lose any money, and it will be an interesting ride to have been on. So technically, right now, I'm already in the clear. There's no way I can lose money unless Bitcoin tanks to the point where it just takes the whole market out of play completely. But with the new news coming with Verge, I see something very big happening. I just watched an interview with one of their main programmers. I don't know his name, but it's the Larry and Joe show, which they're great. They've been like Verge whales, and they've been heavy on Verge for a long time. And I just finished watching that interview, and I'm telling you, what I heard on that interview is inspiring. I'm also on many Telegram channels on my phone, and right here I see a guy, XVG Leak, looks like partnership with CompUSA. I went online trying to figure that out. I hit so many different things, CompUSA, CompUSA. I was unable to find anything about it. If any of you guys know anything, I got one person watching right now, but that's fine. I'm not going to stop posting. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I want this to become a conversation. I want this to become almost like a nightly live stream show. Last night, I did battle with a guy in real estate. We talked about gold, real estate, Bitcoin. We went back and forth. He said, "Do you think the government would ever allow Bitcoin to become the main currency?" And I said, in my opinion, if the government had as much control as they should have had, they should have been on top of this way before it got this big. When it was at $100 and it went to 500, 5 times gains, that's when they really could have put the stomp down. I don't think they realized what was going on. I think their heads were too busy manipulating gold, printing fiat currency. I think they had enough on their plate at the time, and maybe not even the technology and the type of people that were already developing Bitcoin. Interesting enough, Bitcoin came out right after the housing collapse of 2008. So I think those things are correlated. I think there's a reason why we have these type of currencies coming out at this time, and this time of the financial system just being very unstable. A lot of people know about fiat currency, and they know that the money is being printed um, at a mass scale and just being hyperinflated due to fractional reserve lending. You can put $1,000 in the bank, and they can lend out 900 of it. Then that 900 ends up coming back into the bank again from the other person's whatever they're doing. Say they need it for a car. They go to the car dealership, they buy the car. The guy who owns the car dealership, what does he do? He takes that money, he puts it back into the bank. Now he puts 900 in the bank. Now they can lend 810. They keep 90, and so on and so forth. Then they lend 10% of that, and 10% of that, and 10% of that, and 10% of that. So they've appropriated so many funds off your initial fund, meaning every dollar that you deposit creates debt. A savings account just creates more debt for the entire economy. And it's sad that we're in a giant Ponzi scheme. If you don't know that, you should watch The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney. And yes, he does sell gold and silver, and that's one of his main positions. I think it is his main position. But at the same time, there's a reason why he wants you to get into gold and silver, because he wants you to understand that that has been a valued form of money for over 5,000 years. No fiat currency has lasted more than maybe a few hundred, maybe 5, 6, 700 years. Maybe I'm even exaggerating, but I don't know the exact digit, but no fiat currency has existed for too long of a time. Eventually, countries go to war, they overextend, they need to pay their soldiers, they need to pay too many things. They start printing more money than they can back, and eventually it crumbles the system. That's why we have this low circulating supply in Bitcoin of 21 million. There's an infinite supply of the US dollar. And it's interesting, when you were first learning about cryptocurrency, as I was first getting into it, you would see that if I listen to a lot of experts. Crypto Love is a great channel. Data Dash is a great channel. Crypto Bobby, David Hay. These are 4 people that's got me in pretty hard. Crypto Lark, other people like that. But so I went further and further into this. And when you were looking at a coin, you would look at its circulating supply, like Kincoin. Kincoin has such a high circulating supply that a lot of people are like, if it gets to 2 cents, that'll be great. If it gets to 3 cents, wow. If we can get 3 times gains on something, because you look at the price of the coin, you look at the market cap it has, and then you look at the circulating supply, and you can see how that's going to change things. Now, Bitcoin has the lowest market circulating supply of any coin, at 21 million. That's an amazing triumph that it has, and that's something very special. So with that, you know that it's probably more promising. The US dollar, let's talk about it, folks, has an infinite circulating supply. Let's say it again, an infinite circulating supply. If US dollar was a coin, USD coin, and it said infinite circulating supply, a lot of people wouldn't be that happy with it. Now, I heard Ripple is decentralized somewhat, and it maybe does have an infinite supply. That's something, if anyone in the channel could tell me, or do you know, guys? I've done some research on it, but it seems like they can just add more Ripple whenever they would like, and a large chunks of it too. Like, you'll get a 15 billion Ripple out of nowhere. Ripple does have a very high circulating supply. But my whole point in the story here is, you want coins that have a good amount of circulating supply, a lot of buzz, and logos matter, and how a coin is positioned and how a coin is marketed is a big deal as well. So you want to make sure that you're finding a coin that has a good team, The people behind it are from reputable companies that have made money in the past. Like Dan Latimer started BitShares and EOS. Now, if you look him up, he was working for the government in weapons defense. So he was already part of a big machine. He was already making a lot of money. He was well trusted, well respected, and his ability in technology is obviously has been overseen by government. So he has a high place in the world of coding. And why would he just pick a coin that's going to die? Like that's another reason why I invest in cryptocurrency. Why do you think these guys, who are some of the smartest people in the world, would pick a dying dinosaur industry? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. My only worry is that there's going to be another type of cryptocurrency, such as Hashgraph, which is coming out, that could blow Bitcoin out of the water. But it still will take some time. Bitcoin, for people to get really comfortable with it, it takes time. But the whole meaning of this post and of these live streams right now is to talk about Verge tonight and the fact that I'm telling you right now, I think on April 17th, Tuesday, you're going to see some mass adoption of Verge on a level that you've never, ever even thought possible. They're going to merge with a giant company. Now, I'm getting told through many of my Telegram channels that there is a leak out and it could be CompUSA. But to me, CompUSA, I bought a computer from them. They're still in business. They're not heavily marketed. I don't know what market share they have. I'm sure they have decent market share. They sell a lot of different computers. They're known, but a lot of their stores that I used to go to aren't around anymore. But if that is the case, it's still big. It's still huge. It's going to be marketed on a global scale. Listening to the creator, one of the founders of Verge, saying that this will be one of the biggest marketing and adoptions of any cryptocurrency yet. Like no cryptocurrency has actually had this much adoption yet. And if you listen to Cliff High, which I do, when you're into Cliff High, he did suggest that sometime mid-April, May, you were going to see some things in crypto that were going to go through the roof and that were going to really, really change the whole frame of this game for a lot of different people. And I think Verge coin I've been with it since the beginning. A lot of people put it on a McAfee pump and dump. But honestly, I think John McAfee really is a smart guy. He's as crazy as you want to believe. Bolivia, all the stories, whatever. Smart people are insane. It's just how it goes. It comes with the territory. A lot of people that seem to know what they're doing in one section are robust, energetic. They push forward. They have that genius / insane quality. Like genius and insane are this close away from each other. And I'm telling you, he looked at Verge from the very beginning with the Wraith protocol finally coming out, which took a long time and didn't deliver on time, but eventually did deliver. I think that's going to create a lot of buzz already. And the reason if you don't know what the Wraith protocol is, it means you can turn on and off the public access of your transaction. And so Verge is a privacy coin. And as I said before, and I've said to many other people, that privacy coins will be the winners in 2018, because now with taxes coming out and all the different things, I don't know if people want to have every single transaction they want looked at by the government. And, that's what the point was with taxes and getting hit by the IRS and all the things. People were, there's no law. I mean, I've looked up these two couples named the Browns. They got arrested. They're doing 30 years in prison. And all they said to the government was, just show us the law that says we have to pay the tax. If you show us the law to our lawyers, we'll love to give you the money. But until you can provide the law, like, we're just not going to pay you. And they were taken out of their homes by federal agents, and a lot of things happened to them. So, a lot of people know these things about fiat currency, about the government, and I think it's going to push more people into privacy coins. I like Monero. I like Zcash. I like Verge. Now, there's been talk again, I'll say it again, that Verge may be merging with CompUSA. I don't know where I heard it. It was on a Telegram channel, and I could be spreading some rumors here, and I apologize. That's not what I'm saying is guaranteed to happen, and I'm not saying it has to happen, and I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying possibly it's a company of that scale. Is it Amazon? I don't think it's Amazon for some reason. Is it eBay? We don't know, but we know it is a giant company. And honestly, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Also, there's some weird biblical prophecies about April 16th and the time when God will let Jubilee occur and release us from the financial system, which we've been held down by for so long. I'm not into that, really. It's not a big deal, but it's just another funny coincidence that's interesting that's going around on the internet by a name Bo Polion. and he's a big gold and silver guy. But yeah, I just want to talk about it. Anyone out there? I see two people on the live stream. Could you ask me a few questions? You guys want to jump in? I'm just wondering who's out there and how you guys feel about this partnership. I do this to talk to you guys, so I really, really want feedback. It's so big to me. I don't care that I have two people following today. Maybe I'll have 4 tomorrow, 5, 10, 12. And as it gains steam, it gains steam. And I'm just going to keep coming out here and giving you my all, 100% in all my passion, everything that I can into this crypto. My birthday is today, April 9th, 12:37 a.m. I'm super happy about what's going on. I cannot wait to see what happens in one short week. And I've been told the marketing campaign coming out with this will be global. And you're not just going to be with the United States. You're going to be in a global market. It's another thing when you trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat global because a lot of people are interested in it. But you're not trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange. You're not trading on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. You're trading on one thing and one thing only. So when you're in crypto, you're in a global market. So you got to get that right out in your head right away. A lot of people say Bitcoin has no use case. I tell them I could memorize my password, go anywhere in the world, and then I could even break the Trezor wallet that I own, and I could just get a new one, load it up, and I'd be able to go to work, man, and get all the money that I had in it like that back in my hand, and then I could convert it back to whatever currency was being used at the time, or I could use it to buy things in local areas. There are people taking Bitcoin. I'm going to open up a store soon where I'll be taking Bitcoin. So if you don't think that's a use case, I just don't, before if I had $10,000 in cash, I couldn't go anywhere. I have to go to the bank, take it out. They're going to say, oh, you have $10,000 in cash. Now I can move around with 50, 60 grand and no one's all over me. It's all in my head inside a password. If you don't think that's a use case, I don't know who you are, because it means you have some other fast way of moving money that I don't know about. And honestly, Bitcoin is going to be amazing. I think it will hit over $30,000. I think it will go to $1 million. There's 42 millionaires in the world. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. And it's getting harder and halving every 2 years. By 2020, the halving rate will be half, 2024, and so on and so forth. Less Bitcoins will be given out to the world every day. Right now, about 1,800 Bitcoins are made a day. You say that, and that's not even that many if you really think about mass adoption and global scale and $20 trillion worth of money out there. So I want to leave you guys with that tonight. No one commented. It would have been nice if someone could leave a comment. Whoever this one person who's watching and is not commenting, I just it bothers me a little bit, because I'm here to engage. I'm here to talk about the conversation, and I would like it if you were there to discuss it with me. I'm not afraid to say that I'm not popular. I have over 500,000 views on my channel, almost 500,000 and counting. And yeah, I did get into droning at first, and I had a lot of people that were into droning. But thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate that. As many likes as I can get, help the video get engaged. One person watching, one like. I mean, that's at 100% engagement. Not many people are doing that. But I just want to say, if you guys are into crypto, if you love drones, if you just want to be free, man. Another reason why I fly drones is because I put on the goggles. I'm at a new perspective. I'm flying high up in the air somewhere, and it just gives me a feeling of being free, of being where I want to be. And that's really what it's all about for me, being in an open, amazing community of people. The people I've met through crypto already have been amazing. It's been an awesome ride being with crypto. It's changed my life in such a short amount of time. It had been a long time since something that new had come into my life. But it's my birthday. I'm going to go probably get ready for tomorrow, take a quick 5-hour nap, sleep, and then I'm going to have an awesome birthday day. And I want to leave you guys with this. I mark my words, on April 17th, I think the news from Verge is going to be absolutely insane. And if you haven't bought some Verge now, I don't think it's bad to get in. Maybe wait for a 2-3% dip if that's even possible. Right now, let me just check for you guys. Verge is sitting at 953 Satoshi. Set a buy for 910, 930, walk away. The second the buy goes through, hopefully you'll get notified on your phone, or you can check. You'll be watching the price. The second it goes through, take a 10% stop loss and put it down. So that would be 95 Satoshis below your 950 buy-in, or your 910 buy-in, 91 Satoshi. then you would put in a 90 and then 1. So you put it in at 809, right? So at 809, you would put your stop loss at, and then you're gonna ride it out. Worst comes to worst, if you put in 10 grand, you lose 1,000. If you put 1,000, you lose 100. I mean, if you're willing to put in 10 grand, I hope you can lose 1,000. You'll be all right. So with that being said, I advise people, and I'm not a financial advisor, and you have to do it at your own risk. And by any means, is for educational purposes only. But what I'm doing is I'm going to purchase. What I already did is I purchased Verge. I then set. I always try to put a limit in a little below where it's at, so when it dips, I can snatch it. Never buy it at the limit price unless you think it's going up so fast you just have to grab it. And then you're going to set a 10% stop loss. So the worst thing that can happen is you lose 10%. And then as it goes up, you're going to raise your stop loss, raise your stop loss. Like if I get back to it, if it goes over 1,000 Satoshis in the next 2 days, my stop loss right now is at 840 and I got it at 800. My stop loss is going to be at 910. I'm going to keep being 10% below. So if it goes to 1,000, my stop loss will be at 900. Goes to 1,200, my stop loss will be at 120. Below that will be at 1080. And we're just going to keep moving at that rate, trailing the stop, trailing the stop, trailing the stop, making sure we get our gains, making sure we feel the fruitions of our trading, and